Alright, I want to talk a little bit about modifying lines, because we were having some issues today about creating selections of lines internal to a polyline and making changes to those and having each segment change independently. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today and talk about how Illustrator works with paths and line segments. So this is true for both the pen tool, regular lines in Illustrator, and the CAD lines. When you draw a line in Illustrator and connect to an anchor point using the CAD lines or using the pen tool, it creates a polyline drawing, which has, if you select it, you can see that all three of those lines are connected. Now we talked today about how to break up those segments using this tool, the Direct Selection tool. The shortcut for the Direct Selection tool default is A, so you'll be going back from the V tool, which is the regular selection tool, to the A tool. And if you use the Modify Selection, or the Direct Selection tool, the A tool, when you click on that, you can see that these white boxes appear at the corners, and you can selectively click on the anchor points. And then you can use the scissor tool to break away and cut this path. When you click back on these line segments holding the Alt key down, it'll select the entire segment. That entire segment can be deleted, or that entire segment can be modified. That is true for all these segments now, holding down the Alt key and selecting it, clicking once. Now once you do that, once you separate these lines, now you've got control over these lines independently. And you can go in and select an anchor point and then move this anchor point in CAD Tracker. So you can go into the Move section and say, I want to move that anchor point 1 foot, and I want to move it in the 90-degree direction. You say Move, and that'll adjust 1 foot. If you go back in and select that anchor point and say, I want to move that anchor point 3 feet in a 30-degree distance, and move it, it'll move 3 feet in a 30-degree distance. So once you have these segments broken up, you can adjust them in the Move section using the Direct Selection tool. Now in the Transform section, you'll only be able to transform things using the regular selection tool. But because these are all grouped together with the regular selection tool, you won't be able to modify it correctly. If you have a bunch of angles, it won't be able to work. So going back to that Direct Selection tool will allow you to grab an anchor point and move things around. It'll also allow you to grab the segments and copy those segments. So if you hold down the Alt key and select on a segment, it'll grab the line and its anchor points. And you can copy these things certain distances. So if you wanted to take this and copy it over 2 feet, you can copy it over 2 feet in 0 angle, click copy, and it'll copy another line for you. You can copy multiple lines that way. So if you are dealing with these segments and you need to modify these segments, you can modify them using this Direct Selection tool and the Move palette in CAD Tracker, and you won't have to worry about having all these lines bundled together with the normal selection tool.